Good afternoon and happy Saturday as we welcome you into Zane Trace High School. Going to be our first volleyball live stream of the 2025-2026 high school sports season here in Southern Ohio, along with Shane Combs. My name is Dewey Daly as we welcome you back to the YouTube channel here at Sosa, Ohio. Shane, excited to get after it for another season here with volleyball.
Yeah, really excited. I love our volleyball coverage. We play such high-level volleyball throughout the Southeast District, and in our Sosa coverage area, we're blessed to see a lot of it. And starts here today, and I know we've got a long schedule this year. Really looking forward to doing it with you.
And Shane, coming in to this afternoon, it'll be the season opener for Zane Trace. Logan Elm in action last night. You had a chance to see them over at Unyota. It was a 3-set sweep over the Shermans for head coach Aaron Ridenauer. And I don't know if you saw this, but it was actually his 100th career win at Logan Elm. I believe it is 542nd overall, but now at the century mark with the Braves.
Well, that's just outstanding. Such a great volleyball coach. I got to know Coach Ridenauer, ironically, during his time there at Unyota, where he was very successful there. And then, last night, eager for a little Friday night volleyball, with the football season not starting until next week. I thought that was kind of a neat thing for the kids throughout soccer and volleyball to get to do that. So, my wife and I took the drive up to Logan Elm last night, volleyball-wise, and watched Unyota and Logan Elm in action. And, came away really impressed with Logan Elm. You and I had a chance to do them last year, and they were obviously playing without the incredible talent of Claire King because of injury. Even then, it was still a really good volleyball team. And what was neat was all of the growth that those girls were able to make without her last year. Now you all of a sudden throw the 6-foot Ohio kid back into that mix, and as you would guess, they're very impressive, locked and loaded for a great season.
Yeah, Shane, you mentioned Claire King. Only played in 29 of the Braves' 80 sets last season and still finished third on the team in kills. Was on a Conference Player of the Year pace, 5.5%. Right back on that track last night, I believe, had 16 in 3 sets, so she seems to have not missed a beat.
Well, we'll talk about her so much throughout the day, but the one thing I'll say here in the opening is she's just such a gifted athlete. I know, obviously, the 6 foot, the long arms, things like that are things you can't, teach. But beyond that, it's the athleticism, it's the body control, it's the court vision, it's the ability to mix up the shots and her attacks out of the middle. And she's kind of an underrated all-around volleyball player as well. So, really glad she's healthy and getting an opportunity to get back out there and compete here as a senior.
Now, coming into this afternoon, there's actually quite a few parallels between these two teams coming off the heels of last season, coming into this season. They both finished an even 500 in conference play. They both finished 4th in the conference standings in their respective leagues. They both finished with 14 total wins last season, and they both graduated their top 2 hitters. Now, for Logan Elm, that's a little skewed, obviously, with the King injury right before the midway of the season, but a lot of parallels between these two teams. They're fairly close together, and you were excited to see the Zane Trace and Logan Elm matchup to maybe get a little comparison into the SVC with Unyota and Zane Trace.
Well, there's no question, and I like what you're saying about the parallel. When you go over the Zane Trace side, Carly Snavely was one of the real breakout stars in our area last year. Now as a sophomore, excited just to see how she's going to continue to grow. But as you'd expect, up and down a Zane Trace lineup that's coming off a district championship, a lot of experience, a lot of size, a lot of athleticism. If they're able to really stay locked in terms of passing the volleyball on target, this is going to be a tough team to handle at the net for sure.
And you're talking about passing the volleyball for Logan Elm. They do graduate their top passer in Hannah Rhodes last season. We saw in the season opener last night for Logan Elm, it's going to be Kennedy Groff for the majority this season, with Kiana Ingram getting in the mix as well.
Yeah, obviously that setter position so important, quarterbacking the entire thing. In order to get the volleyball to a talented King on one side or to the likes of a Snavely or a Johnson on the other, got to pass it on target and you got to set it on target, and that ball handling will be something we really watch here early on today.
Now, Shane, before we go to break for Zane Trace with the graduations from last season, who are some players we can expect to maybe step into expanded or new roles this season for head coach Ashton Ward?
Well, I'm interested to see there in the early warm-ups, Lydia Jarrell looked like she was doing some of the setting duties. I'll be interested to see what that rotation looks like. That would certainly be one because that would mean that she has responsibility of getting on target to Snavely as a hitter across the front 3 rotations.
Richer. Countless nights in the garage. 8 shiny new pistons. 1 very happy 16-year-old granddaughter. And 2 years since starting cancer treatment at Ohio Health.
Back here in Kenny Connect, Zane Trace and Logan Elm volleyball coming up in just a moment here at Zane Trace High School. With Shane, just before the break, you had mentioned Lydia Jarrell, one of the underclassmen for the Pioneers you were interested in seeing here this season.
Yeah, have not had a chance to see them in the preseason, and so again, I'm just going off warm-ups there, but I just, that's something to look at in their rotation, because as I was doing my prep work on Zane Trace, you know a lot of names across the net and the size that they're going to be able to utilize with Johnson and Pickerel and Snavely and Houston and so forth. It's just going to be curious to me to see how they go about passing and setting the volleyball. And I know Hill will be in that mix this year, but it looked like maybe she was going to move around some roles. I know Grant will be in that mix. So it'll just be interesting to see how Zane Trace runs it out there, because a lot of athleticism and a lot of experience. I think it's a real dangerous volleyball team in our area. And
you had mentioned the change in position for Kerrigan Hill, a libero last year as a freshman. Now it looks like she'll be doing some more hitting on the outside, whereas the senior Reese Grant wearing that alternate jersey here tonight for the Pioneers.
Yeah, a lot of times early in your career, you have a lot of different skill set throughout the rotation, and as you get older, people graduate, different holes in the rotation open up, and maybe getting a little bit more of the outside attack there from the athleticism of Hill, and then obviously Grant, as an experienced senior, able to move in and take over that passing role.
So Zane Trace and Logan Elm moments away from first serve here in Kenny Connect. Second game of the season for Logan Elm. Straight set sweep over Unyota in Pickaway County last night. They're 1-0. It'll be the home opener and season opener for Zane Trace. So we mentioned pregame Reese Grant. The libero for Zane Trace. It'll be Sadie Binkley for the Braves.
Getting their lineup in there. Now the libero will be able to report in once the down judge gets the right set. That's why you see Pickerel come out of the lineup. She'll return here shortly to hit across the front row for the Lady Pioneers.
So Reese Grant back to serve. The Pioneers season is underway. As Groff goes far side to King. She gets the Braves onto the board first.
Yeah, you'll notice the ability to move King up and down the net. On that first ball over, she'll usually be out of the middle, but on that first ball over, sometimes on the outside, sometimes opposite. Got to be aware of where she's at.
Now Groff serves it away for the Braves. Down the middle, Johnson. Dug up by Savage, now tipped back over by Ingram. Back to the Pioneers now. Near side, it's Hill with a roll shot. And a dig from Groff. Near side, Savage in attacking area. It's 1-1.
I think a big factor for Zane Trace throughout the year has been able to utilize that size at the net, making sure you're getting blocks up all the way up and down the net. And I think that's going to really go a long way to help this Zane Trace back row.
Now Groff front set. King tools the block and a kill for the senior.
Yeah, right off the bat, you get a little bit of look at what we're talking about with the talent of King and that one-on-one setting in the middle of the floor. Just so difficult to handle.
Now Binkley back to serve it away. 2-1, Logan Elm leading. Snavely keeps it on this side for the Pioneers. An attacking error for Houston. And it's back to Binkley and the Braves.
Tough pass to handle there. Snavely did a good job keeping it out of the net. They just couldn't get it back over.
Snavely bumps it near side. Grant a roll shot back over to Logan Elm. Now Groff far side. This is Smith blocked at the net. But it falls out of bounds. It's 4-1 Logan Elm.
Again, Smith, a hitter that we watched grow last year in the absence of King. When she gets out there and gets that nice angle from the outside, she's able to tool the block.
Just under 2 kills per set last season for the senior Adeline Smith. Now Snavely near side for Houston. Dug up in the back row by Petty. Far side back to Smith, and she sticks it right in front of the back line.
You know, doing that attack for Zane Trace there, that was Emma Houston, a 6'3" senior, hitting out of the strong side, which means she'll also be over there to be a part of their defense with her size at the net. She's someone they really, really need to add to that depth of height across the net that I was talking about in the pre-match.
Snavely bumps it near side, tight to the net. No room for Houston. It's 6-1 Braves.
Yeah, right now the serve of Binkley causing the serve receive of Zane Trace some problems, and as a result, it's a 6-1 start.
Snavely tips it to Houston near side, down the line for the kill.
Good
Puts
sign.
an end to the run for the Braves. It's 6-2.
Yeah, absolutely. Good sign for Zane Trace there to get that outside offense from Houston.
Lydia Gerald, the sophomore, back to serve for Zane Trace. As Groff goes far side, Smith tips it over with the right hand. Now back to the Braves on the second touch. Groff back setting. Marlo Smith for the kill for the Braves.
Just an outstanding set. Used the back set. Good job of the senior Marlo Smith going. Sometimes you don't think you're going to get the ball. You don't go into your hitting approach. She was disciplined and did so, and as a result got a kill.
Gerald sets it up for Snavely. It was just out of the reach of the sophomore, and it's 8-2. 9-2 Logan Elm. Shane, you mentioned it a few points ago. It seems the serve receive for Zane Trace just hasn't quite been on point here in the early going.
Yeah, and it doesn't always have to be an ace. Sometimes the tough serve just gets a pass off target, gets in that free ball, and the Logan Elm offense can go off of it.
Back to Logan Elm now, out of the back row. Here's Smith. An attacking error, and that'll make it 9-3.
I like the aggressive swing there from Smith. Logan Elm did a pretty good job of being out of system and getting right back in. Still got a pretty good swing at it, just goes a little long.
Carly Pickrell checking in for the Pioneers. First time we've seen the senior in the match. A serving error against Macy Oates.
You know, a little bit of it too, Dewey, can be that situation where it's the opener for Zane Trace, where Logan Elm able to knock the nerves off a little bit last night. That certainly can play a role here in the early going.
Down the middle here, Snavely, who tools the block for the kill.
Yeah, Snavely able to get going there. Obviously, that's one of their go-tos there at the net, and she gets on the board with her first kill, and still time for Zane Trace here in the early going. It's just 10-4. Just need to settle in with some good passing.
Alexis Barrows rotates in. She serves it away for the Pioneers. As Ingram back sets to Smith, she's blocked by Snavely. And Ingram runs out of room tight to the net. It's 10-5.
Yeah, a great example of what I'm talking about there. Zane Trace's size at the net, if they're able to get set, they're going to present some challenges to people.
Service error for Barrows.
Again, some of those unforced errors can be an opening day type thing, just being able to set a win and knock the nerves off a little bit.
And an ace for Adeline Smith. Just 3 aces in the match total. Last night against Juniota for Logan Elm, I believe already 2 here in the first set. Against Zane Trace, make it 3.
Yeah, now you're starting to see the ace take over and that's not even counting the 2 or 3 balls that had Zane Trace out of system. So that's a great point, I think the Logan Elm serving's been as much a factor as anything so far.
Smith serves it into the back row. Grant back to the middle of the floor, and a free ball over by Gerald. Ingram rushing near side, but unable to recover. It's 13-6. Snavely back to serve for the Pioneers.
Looks like with Gerald out, Snavely will set across the back row now for Zane Trace.
Ingram goes far side for Savage, a big swing. Kept alive by the Pioneers. The diving effort from Groff keeps it alive. Ingram over back to Zane Trace on the free ball. Near side, a roll shot from Hill. Binkley digs it up in the back row. Now Ingram goes far side. Savage once again down the line. This time gets the kill.
Yeah, that ability to go down the line is so good because it's so hard for the block to get all the way out there and get set. I love when that strong side hitter gets out there and really stretches the floor.
Petty serves it away for the Braves. Grant bumps into Hill, a roll shot, she gets the kill.
It's a little bit what you were talking about earlier. You take the athleticism of Hill now moving some positions, and she gets involved in the offense a little bit more. That could be a nice outside weapon to complement the middle play of Johnson.
Grant serves it away for the Pioneers. Does she have the ace? And she does.
One thing to look at here, is Zane Trace comes around the second time. Sometimes the nerves can show up in the serve more than anything. Let's see this time around if they serve it a little bit better.
Free ball over by Savage. Now Snavely near side for Hill. She's blocked at the net. Kennedy Groff comes up big on the defensive side. Now back to Hill, dug up in the back row by Groff. Now Savage back to the Pioneers, an attacking error for the Braves. It's 14-9.
Yeah, a little momentum finally here for Zane Trace, sparked a little bit by the serving of Grant, just kind of the overall effort and energy picking up a little bit for Zane Trace here.
Groff far side for King, who puts an end to the rally.
King returning to the front row could have a way of playing on that momentum a little bit. So now that she comes back to the front, obviously Zane Trace blocks, got to be aware.
Groff serves it away, an overpass from the Pioneers, tipped right back down by Claire King.
Wow, that's just shows off a little bit of size and athleticism, and got him out to 16-9 there, timeout Zane Trace.
Logan Elm leading Zane Trace 16-9, first time out of the set for the Pioneers. Shane, some comparisons to the match you watched last night, all three sets of that one compared to this one, about 25 points in.
Well, I think one of the biggest things last night was one of those Friday night atmospheres that I'm sure a lot of athletic departments were trying to create for their other sports. And Logan Elm certainly had some energy, played well. The thing that probably jumps out at me that would be very similar is a balanced attack led by King. You know, King's off to the 4-kill start there, but you also have multiple kills from Adeline Smith, one from Marlo Smith, one from Savage. So they're able to move the ball up and down the net. And then I think the serving's been really, really difficult. Thought it gave Unioda serve-receive some fits last night, and here early on it's giving Zane Trace some serve-receive problems as well.
Out of the timeout, Groff serves it away for the Braves. An attempted free ball for Hill, unable to make it up over the net.
Yeah, just an unforced error by a talented player. Just got to settle in a little bit, knock any of the nerves off, and try to get back in.
Snavely front-setting Johnson, the first time we've seen her get a good opportunity, and she capitalizes on it at 17-10.
Well, and that's going to be the story. When they pass and set it well, Zane Trace will compete with anyone across our entire listening area at the net. They have 3 or 4 people that can really compete their offense and defense.
Shane, you and I saw Johnson really elevate her game as King with a big swing overpass from Grant back to the Braves now. Ingram's roll shot is blocked up top by Johnson, and that's just the point I was getting to, Shane. You and I, on the Pioneers' run to the regional semifinal last season, saw Johnson really elevate her game as a junior.
Yeah, she really did. She showed it off there with the block there, and we would be crazy not to give Grant a star there for keeping that alive with a nice dig.
Near side, Savage tipped back over by Houston. Heady play from Savage tips it right back over for the kill. It's a 7-point lead for Logan Elm in set one.
Yeah, I like the way you called that there, Savage, the heady play, because, again, that's kind of what I put in my notes with her. Just so steady, so smart, understands her role, understands the game.
Binkley back to serve for Logan Elm. Snavely front setting near side for Houston, dug up in the back row by Petty. Binkley far side, it's over on the free ball by Smith. Now Johnson to Houston, a roll shot into the back row, dug up by Binkley. Now Groff goes far side, Smith down the line, blocked up top, Johnson once again.
Yeah, one of the outstanding defenders at the net. Kaylee Johnson making an impact there with a couple points defensively across her 3 rotations.
Carly Conaway in on the defensive effort as well for Zane Trace. Back up to a 7-point lead for Logan Elm.
Yeah, that's insane athleticism. You know, we talked about how a lot of people will talk about the 6 foot and the long arm. I think the more you watch her, you'll be impressed with her athleticism and body control just as much.
Gerald sets it up near side for Houston. Now Groff. Back to Smith, a bit off the net. It's tipped back over to Logan Elm. Here's near side with Smith. Nearly an overpass, but Snavely tips it back over on the second touch for the kill.
Much better job defensively from Zane Trace. You get the block set, it gives your passer a better chance. Zane Trace just keeps the ball off the floor. Get that ball up there at the net and give the strength of your team a chance to play.
The junior Macy Oates checks in. She will serve. Groff keeps it in the middle for King. And it's 20-13.
That's the freshman middle hitter there. Liggins was real impressed with her last night. She'll play opposite middle there when King goes to the back row, and a lot of potential there. Seeing her now on back-to-back days, been real impressed with her here in the early part of her rookie season.
4 kills in the win over Unioda and a service error for the Braves. Seen Zane Trace really toying with that 6 to 7 point deficit, just unable to cut it any deeper than that.
Yeah, and really, wouldn't you agree, it's kind of right out of the gate, just a little bit of the nerves there. It was like 6-1 to start. Since then, it's been pretty even set.
Ingram back setting near side for Smith. Kept alive by the Pioneers. Now Snavely on the attack for the kill.
Yeah, great example of Zane Trace there. You get the double block up. You don't get the block for the point, but the touch allows to take some pressure off of your defense. Then you're able to come right back on the offense. And again, you get it up there to your capable hitter, and she puts it away, now within 5.
Ingram sets it up far side, a swinging opportunity for Groff, and a dig from Grant now. Down the middle for Snavely, another kill.
Yeah, real impressed with Lydia Gerald there, the sophomore, adjusting on that ball and getting it up to her hitter. Now all of a sudden, timeout Coach Ridenhour. Zane Trace is as close as they've been here at 2016.
It's been a pesky effort for Zane Trace. They just won't go away just when you think Logan Elm is starting to pull away with that 6 to 7 point lead. Here's Zane Trace right back in it. They cut it down to 4. I believe that's as close as it's been since 5-1.
Yeah, I think a lot of times, I mentioned the opening day jitters. I think sometimes in nerves, that shows up in volleyball a little bit in the serving and some of the serve receive. So as Zane Trace moved through their 6 spots of the rotation and they started back over, as girls started to get to serve the second time, Zane Trace has been hitting their spots a little bit better and then starting to pass the volleyball just a little bit better. And that's allowed the Zane Trace size to get going at the net, and a pretty good opportunity to sneak back in this one here.
And Shane, as somebody who's been around the game for as long as you have, would you say the aggressiveness on serving is maybe something that's not quite as present here in the early goings of a season, maybe as you see towards the end of the season come tournament time?
Yeah, I think that's just knowing each kid, knowing what type of serve they have and what it is you're trying to accomplish there, as Smith gets on the weak side there with the opposite side kill. To go back up 5. But, yeah, that's probably just the team-to-team philosophy and probably even within the team a different philosophy for each kid.
So out of the timeout, Smith with the kill. She serves it away for Logan Elm. Near side on the second touch. Hill sails it over the back line. It's 22-16.
Yeah, a little miscommunication there. The setter going to take the second ball. Hill was going to swing on the second ball, and they just kind of made a little contact with each other.
Another serve from Smith. Gerald brings it back to the middle. Hill a free ball back over to Logan Elm. Ingram back setting near side for Groff. Overpass from Gerald. Now Ingram to the middle. This is the freshman Liggins. Back to the Pioneers now, Gerald. Back setting for Pickrell, who rolls it over to the Braves. Far side, Savage tips it over with the right hand. And out of the back row, Alexis Barrow is unable to keep it between the lines. It's 23-16.
Yeah, just a little miscommunication. Zane Trace had a golden opportunity there. Snavely was going in the middle. I think Pickerel thought the ball was going to go there, and she kind of gave up on her opposite side approach.
Snavely comes near side for Hill. Dig from Savage. Now Savage on the attack with a roll shot into the back row. Second touch by Grant. Free ball back over by Hill now. Back to the Pioneers now on the back row. It's Barrows. It'll have to be a free ball, and it is from Grant. Ingram down the middle. The freshman Liggins just does, sneaking up over the net for the kill. Set point coming up for the Braves.
Yeah, you see a little bit of just the size and athleticism for Logan Elm there. Even when the volleyball is not the prettiest, it's just their ability to keep the ball off the floor.
Hill sends it over on the free ball for Zane Trace. Now Ingram to Savage, a big swing, blocked back over by Snavely and Pickrell. Free ball back to the Pioneers now, well towards the out-of-bounds line, and a free ball over by Gerald. Ingram back sets near side for Groff, and that'll cap off Set number one, 25-16, 5 consecutive points for Logan Elm out of the timeout for head coach Ridenauer.
Well, you certainly like that if you're Coach Ridenauer. You call the timeout, settle things down. You come right out of the huddle and start to execute a little bit more and finish off a nice first set win at 25-16.
25-16, the final in set one. Set two coming up when we return to Zane Trace High School. You're watching Ohio High School Volleyball on Southern Ohio Sports Authority, presented by Ohio Health.
Hey, Mike Glockner here from the Glockner family of dealerships. Want to talk to you about our express service that we offer at every Glockner location. Did you know that you don't need an appointment if you need a routine service done to your vehicle? All you have to do is show up. No appointment necessary. Stop by and let us serve you at any Glockner location today.
Richard. Countless nights in the garage. 8 shiny new pistons. 1 very happy 16-year-old granddaughter. And 2 years since starting cancer treatment at Ohio Health.
We welcome you back to Zane Trace High School, some Saturday afternoon volleyball. The season opener for Zane Trace. It's the second game in as many days for Logan Elm. They opened up their 2025 campaign with a win at home over Unyota last night. Shane, what have you seen so far from Logan Elm that they've done here against Zane Trace through set one that allowed them to be so successful last night against Unyota?
Well, obviously the talent at King is such a weapon at the net, but off of her, I think it's the balance. You know, I look down, Groff with a kill, Adeline Smith with 2 kills, Savage with 3, Smith with 1, Liggins with 2. That's all in the first set. You know what I mean? So it's one of those where, yeah, obviously Claire King's very talented, but it's the balance of up and down the net. You start throwing the kitchen sink at her, she's going to get it anyway because she's so good. Well, then you're going to start to open up the net. So for Zane Trace, it's really about just cleaning up the passing. You know, when King comes on the attack, it's one thing to not be able to return that. But there's been some free ball opportunities and some pretty basic things where Zane Trace hasn't been able to pass on target. And when they don't do that, I don't think people realize what they're giving up because they are really, really talented at the net. When you look at the likes of Johnson and Pickerel and Snavely and all these, you know, there's about 4 or 5 kids you'll hear us call at the net throughout the day. They're not getting opportunities to swing, and I think that's been the total difference so far in this match.
And one of the bigger differences at the tail end of set number one was the timeout for Logan Elm. Just when Zane Trace started to get in close, their closest deficit besides the 5-1 in the early portions of the set, they cut it to 20-16, a timeout for Logan Elm, and they rattle off 5 consecutive points to wrap up the set.
Well, I think that's a great point, and I think sometimes we forget to look back at the beginning of the set. Remember the 6-1 start had Zane Trace chasing the entire set. So by the time you make your run, you're still down 20-16 in that timeout you're referencing. So if I'm Zane Trace here, the number one thing I want to do is try to hit the reset button and try to get out of the gate a little quicker here. When you get down 5-1, 6-1, 7-2, I think is what some of those scores were, you just feel like you're playing uphill the entire set. That's a tough way to play volleyball.
So a 25-16 set number one win for the Braves. It'll be Kimberly Petty out of the break to serve it away for Logan Elm. For Zane Trace, they're back in action next Thursday, still here at home against Fairfield Union. For Logan Elm, they're back in action next Tuesday, back home against Miami Trace. I believe they're at Westfall on Thursday as well. Opening up the second set, an ace for Kimberly Petty.
Yeah, right off the bat, the serving of Logan Elm. Strikes again here. Petty putting some nice action on that ball.
This time a service error for the senior Kimberly Petty. It's 1-1.
That's that risk reward. She's trying to hit a spot there. She gets one ace out of it, followed by one air.
Now Kerrigan Hill to serve for the Pioneers. Groff keeps it down the lane for Savage, dug up by Snavely. Grant bumps it near side for Houston, a roll shot dug up by Binkley. Down the middle, King with the soft touch, dug up by Houston on the overpass. Now back to the Pioneers. One too many touches for Zane Trace.
Coach
2-1 Logan Elm.
Sorry, Dewey. Coach Reinauer thought that ball hit up top, but regardless as the play went on, still got the point.
Snavely comes near side for Houston into the net. 3-1 Logan Elm.
The other thing inconsistent serve receive does, it puts a lot of inconsistency in the approach of the hitter because they're constantly waiting to see if they're going to be needed rather than really going and getting ready to attack.
Second service error of the set for Logan Elm. Now the sophomore Lydia Jarrell back to serve for Zane Trace. Free ball over by Groff. Now Jarrell down the middle. Snavely gets the kill. We're all tied up at 3.
Some of their best sequence of volleyball there. The deep serve from Jarrell gets Logan Elm out of system. Free ball comes back over. Zane Trace goes quickly, and then Snavely gets a one-on-one opportunity in the middle, and that's going to end well for Zane Trace in most occasions.
Groff sends it far side. A free ball over by Ingram. Now Jarrell to Snavely. Back-to-back kills for the sophomore.
Another good pass on target back here. I believe that was Hill. And again, Jarrell, the sophomore setter, with her sophomore classmate Snavely getting on the same page here on back-to-back possession.
First lead in the match for the Pioneers. Here's King down the middle, blocked up top by Snavely. Kept alive by the Braves. Back to the Pioneers now, far side. Knocked over by Newman. Now Ingram a swing down the line, dug up in the back row near side. This is Houston for the kill. (5-3) Zane Trace.
Second kill of the morning for Emma Houston.
Nearly an overpass. Either way, it's tipped right back down by Snavely.
Snavely starting to really come alive here in the second set after, a solid first set, but one that she wasn't nearly involved in enough.
Groff sets it up for King, but a violation on the Braves will make it 7-3 Zane Trace, and an early set 2 timeout for Coach Aaron Ridenauer.
Just watching the body language as a coach, I can almost kind of fill in the blanks. It's one of those where you come on the road here after playing last night, get off to a nice start, and you start feeling good about yourself. Well, now the home team starts to wake up a little bit and bring a little bit of energy back to you, and you find yourself down 7-3. So it's that constant grind as a coach of trying to get your kids to play at that at the standard the whole time. I like this sophomore connection here of Jarrell to Snavely too. As Jarrell comes, she's serving right now. She comes across the back row. She'll do the setting for Zane Trace, and doing a nice job.
Groff front setting Ingram down the line. She gets a kill.
Yeah, Ingram's first kill, she won't get a lot because she'll just hit in that one spot on the strong side. She sets across the back row there. But very, very capable athlete there on the strong side attack.
Binkley serves it away for the Braves. Jarrell to Houston, who tools the block for the kill. I believe her third already in this set.
Yeah, it is her third, and does a nice job of just adjusting on that ball using the two hands and gets the kill.
Groff front setting Smith. Big swing dug up in the back row by Hill. Now a roll shot from Houston. Groff to King. This time the Braves come away with the kill. Another big swing for the senior Claire King.
Yeah, great defensive effort from Hill to keep the rally alive for Zane Trace, but then King just gets one more opportunity and buries it.
Following the kill, King will serve it away for Logan Elm. Gerald is Snavely, who spikes it off the top of the net. Now far side with Smith. Gerald bats it over on the free ball. Groff down the middle of the freshman Liggins. And a nice dig from Grant near side to Houston. Dug up by King. Now Groff back setting near side for Smith, who sticks it in for the kill.
Yeah, I talked about this earlier. First of all, outstanding rally there. Great setter play from Groff to use the back set. And I credit Marlo Smith one more time being ready to hit. Gets a kill as a result.
And an ace for Claire King.
Yeah, huge spot here for Zane Trace. You build a lead early on. You've got King going to the back row. If you can handle or serve here, you've got some opportunity at the net.
Gerald front sets for Snavely, who just does find a hole on the far sideline.
Great vision. Could be the 6-foot size up over the net in the vision. Could be teammates out of the back row also calling out the attack for her, reading the floor for her. Either way, outstanding shot to find the hole.
Green out of the back row. Now Smith rolls it up over the tape for the kill. You see it more often on the serve receive, how that ball getting caught up in the tape can really discombobulate, for lack of a better term, the defense.
No, there's no question.
And an ace for Kiana Ingram.
Yeah, Ingram. Yeah, I know a lot through the basketball season so forth. I've heard her called, Kiki. She quite an athlete. She'll set for Logan Elm across the back row here. She serves as Groff goes to the front row.
6-2 run as of now for the Braves out of the timeout. Groff a swinging opportunity, bounces it off of the Zane Trace block. Now Snavely a big swing. She gets the kill. Pioneers back out in front 10-9.
Yeah, Snavely's really comes alive. Now she'll move to the back row to serve here as Johnson returns, and see if Johnson can give him the same type of spark here.
King setting out of the back row for Groff. Attacking error for the senior. It's 11-9, Zane Trace. Ingram back setting near side for Smith. Dug up in the back row by Barrows. Free ball batted over by Grant. Now Green sets it up near side with the right hand, batted over by Smith. Free ball back over to the Braves now. Far side, this is Groff, who just does sneak it up over the tape for the kill.
Good effort from both sides there to keep the ball off the floor, and finally Groff gets the opportunity on the strong side attack.
And another ace for the Braves, this time Adeline Smith.
Some aggressive serving from Logan Elm, some struggle in the Zane Trace serve receive. Coming up on about 8 aces here already this morning.
Near side, Hill a roll shot dug up by Savage. Ingram over on the second touch, sticks it in.
I guess I should be saying this afternoon. I know you were out here quite early this morning getting set up, but I guess technically we've moved into the afternoon.
Smith back to serve once more for the Braves. They now lead Zane Trace 12-11. Down the middle, Johnson. 12-12.
Yeah, I like some of the matchups early on here that Zane Trace has in the front row while King's in the back. Just a matter of getting pass on target.
Now the senior libero Reese Grant serves it away. 12-12 tie here in set two. Far side, Savage blocked up top by Johnson. Peyton Newman, the freshman, in on the defense as well for the Pioneers.
Yeah, Johnson just does such a great job of working up and down the net, getting those hands extended to stay out of the net.
Ingram tight to the net, blocked down by Johnson. But a violation against the senior.
Oh.
Kaylee Johnson will award the point to Logan Elm, and I believe we're tied up at 13.
I did not see the signal. I don't know if they called her in the net or called the interference. Yeah, so look, I think she went across, because I thought she stayed out of the net. I think she went across and interfered is what the call was.
Now Johnson flings it over with the right hand, dug up by Ingram. Here's King with the right hand, and a dig from Snavely. Near side, this is Hill who's unable to get it up over the net. Braves retake the lead, 14-13.
You mentioned in the first set, here we've seen it again, just a response from the timeout of Coach Ridenauer. Girls have responded really well for him.
Snavely front setting near side. Newman back over to the Braves. Overpass from Logan Elm. Now a free ball back to the Braves from Zane Trace. Back set from Groff on the move. Claire King unable to get the kill, but showing off the athleticism. Back to the Braves now. This is Savage, who's blocked up top. Johnson once again.
I tell you, you watch a lot of volleyball throughout the year, and I would challenge you to find a middle hitter that just works harder on the defensive side. She's just up there challenging on every single attack. It's really fun to watch.
Hill serves it away for the Pioneers. Here's King, far side. She tools the block for the kill. And Shane, maybe this second set, drawing a parallel to the second set last night. You said that was one of the more competitive sets out of the three-set sweep for Logan Elm over Unioda last night.
Yeah, 23-23. Unioda had an opportunity to get back in the match and was unable to do so. Then the third set got away from him.
Second touch by Grant and a free ball by Newman. Groff brings it back into play for Ingram, dug up by Hill in the back row. Snavely over on the second touch. Binkley to Ingram, far side, and another dig for Hill. Roll shot for Houston. Groff front setting. King, big swing for the kill.
Yeah, when King's in the front row, you just aren't going to get 2 and 3 and 4 opportunities. Zane Trace had possession of the volleyball and was able to go on the attack and was just completely out of system. You got to be able to send something at Logan Elm with some force in that situation.
Nearly an overpass, heady play by Snavely. The Braves are able to recover. Here's Johnson down the middle for the kill.
Nice set from Snavely. Johnson gets involved in the offense there a little bit. She'll rotate out as Gerald will return to serve and then set. So now Snavely will be hitting at the net for Zane Trace.
Groff front setting for King behind the back. Shot for the senior. Pioneers able to keep it alive. Free ball over by Houston. Groff goes right back to King. This time she's able to get the kill. Lead back up to 2 for the Braves.
Talked about the athleticism and body control of King. You see it there just a little bit. You sometimes maybe even overthinks it, with the ability just to swing away and hammer it. Sometimes can be the best option one.
Snavely tips it over with the right hand, but an attacking error for the sophomore. Lead up to 3 for the Braves. Timeout, Zane Trace. Shane, I'll have to go back and watch that on replay, but it looked like one of those attacking attempts for King. She hit it behind her head. I'll have to go back and watch, but in real time, that's what I thought I saw.
And a lot of times early in the year, you're trying to get on the same page, setter, hitter, and the hitter might be coming at you thinking you're going to give a certain ball, and it might be in a different spot, and she's adjusting a little bit. There is a lot of creativity in her attacks. I noticed that last night and again here this afternoon. But sometimes you can even overthink that. Sometimes when you're as good as her, just a good old option. One is it's kind of like the fastball, right? I mean, there's times for a curveball or a changeup, but it's a pitcher. But if you throw 101, sometimes that fastball would be a pretty good pitch.
Out of the timeout, it's a 3-point lead for Logan Elm over Zane Trace in set 2. It's a 25-16 set 1 win for the Braves. Binkley serves it away. Gerald is Snavely dug up in the back row by Binkley. Free ball over by Smith. Now Gerald back to Snavely, blocked up top by King. Smith in on the block as well, near side with Smith, sent back over to the Braves. Now Smith down the line, an attacking error for the senior. Pioneers back within 2.
Great volley for the Zane Trace defense there. You see the big block, the double block of Snavely and Houston together, able to keep the ball alive and then eventually get the error.
Tight serve from Gerald near side. Here's King with a big swing for the kill.
I love how they use her on that first ball over. She's coming from that opposite side. Zane Trace had the block up. She just went right over top of it. And that's what I'm talking about. Sometimes don't make it harder than it needs to be. Just swing away and hammer.
King serves it away for Logan Elm. Free ball over by Carly Snavely. Bit off the net, a roll shot from Smith. Now Gerald is Snavely, dug up in the back row by King. Smith with the free ball over to the Pioneers. Gerald back to Snavely, blocked up top by the freshman Liggins. Now Houston well over the back line, 20-16, Braves leading.
A little bit of danger time for Zane Trace here, back to that 2016 now.
Snavely tips it over with the right hand, but an attacking error for the Pioneers. They trail by 5. Timeout, ZT.
You know, dude, too, is with Snavely, there's a great example. You're just a sophomore, still going to get better and better and better. Such a talented young lady. You've seen a couple hitting errors, but they've come on tips. There's been opportunities where, again, maybe she's seeing something, maybe something's being called from the back row behind her. Nonetheless, sometimes just her ability to tack and stay real aggressive might be the best thing for her to go about. You know, sometimes you try to be too fine or too perfect, and sometimes I like to just go aggressive when you feel like you're struggling a little bit and swing away.
Yeah, Shane, looking back on it, she either went behind the head or it was directly over top of the head. Either way, she didn't see it when she made contact with it.
Yeah,
But that's part of the body control you're talking about.
It's unlike a whole lot we've seen. I mean, you know, obviously we watched the Thompson girl from Fairfield Union last year and so forth, but yeah, you're watching a pretty special player here in King.
Groff sets it up far side for Smith. Diving effort in the back row from Hill. Nonetheless, a kill for the senior Adeline Smith.
Yeah, Adeline, she's been really good today. Nice and aggressive from the strong side. I have her for 4 kills unofficially, but that's got to be a pretty efficient day for her so far.
And an ace for Claire King, 23-16.
King showing off that entire all-around game, not just the dominance of the net, but she's also been extremely dominant in her serving today. And then, of course, I just jinxed her right there, and she hits it clear off the basketball court. But no, seriously, she's also impacted there. I would say Logan Elm in that particular rotation spot has been really good today.
Barrows serves it away for the Pioneers. Groff goes far side, back to Smith who tools the block. Nice recovery from Hill. Free ball over to the Braves. Binkley back to Smith. Another try kept alive by Pickrell. Free ball over by Snavely, kept alive by Binkley. Near side, this is Smith who flips it over with the right hand. Gerald near side, a good opportunity for Hill, but unable to get it up over the net. Set point for Logan Elm.
Ingram returns the serve.
Gerald retreats near the back row to keep it alive. Grant over on the free ball. Second touch by Ingram and a free ball for Logan Elm. Now Snavely with the right hand and a dig from Groff. Another free ball for the Braves, kept alive by Barrows. The second touch not possible. It flies into the stands. A 25-17 set 2 final.
Great response from Logan Elm. I thought Zane Trace was much better early in that second set. Kind of come back at the Braves there a little bit. The timeout from Ridenauer early in that set, and his ladies responded quite well to take the 2-0 lead in the match.
25-17, the final in set number 2. It's a 2-0 match lead for the Braves over Zane Trace. Set 3 coming up when we return here in Kennewick. You're watching Ohio High School Volleyball on Southern Ohio Sports Authority, presented by Ohio Health.
Glo Fiber is now in Ohio. And with gig speed fiber internet, we're keeping things real. As in real, reliable speeds. Real people who really want to talk to you. Not to mention, real simple pricing. Switch to Glo Fiber today to get real fast, real reliable fiber internet and your first month free. Glo Fiber is here. Welcome to Glo-Hio. Call 1-833-WANT-GLO or visit glofiber.com to switch today.
Kimberly. Tons of practice. One chop away from a black belt. 7 of the best sidekicks. And 5 years since her cancer diagnosis at Ohio Health.
We welcome you back to Zane Trace High School. The Pioneers trailing Logan Elm 2-0 here in this Saturday afternoon non-conference matchup, a season opening matchup for the Pioneers. The Braves 1 match and 2 sets into their season, a 3-set sweep last night over Unyota. Shane, you were in attendance there. I asked you the same question after the first set. What have you seen from Logan Elm that they kind of carried over from last night into this 2-set lead over ZT?
Well, certainly a little bit of that momentum in the first set. And what's interesting to do, the one thing that I didn't get to see a ton of last night, other than maybe that second set in the Unyota match, was a little bit of adversity where they had to kind of play from behind. So that was impressive there in the second set, how they responded. And, you know, if you're Zane Trace, the nice thing about volleyball, you've been outscored 50-33, but you start back over 0-0. If you're Zane Trace, you got to look back to that early second set and know that, okay, we played some good volleyball with them. Can we get off to a good start here again and try to get ourselves back in the match?
So the senior libero, Reese Grant, will kick things off for the Pioneers here in set 3. Groff goes front side. King right out of the gate. Diving effort from Barrows out of the back row, but a kill for Claire King.
Yeah, again, you gotta recognize where she's going to start from in each rotation. Off that first ball there, she's going to hit out a strong side. Now she'll be in the middle.
Second touch by Johnson and a roll shot that just does not get up over the net from Reese Grant. It's 2-0 here in set 3. Logan Elm leading.
Yeah, and I would even put danger time on this for Zane Trace. You do not want to get yourself too far behind early on here after being down 2-0.
Over a pass from Hill, spiked right back down by Claire King. It's 3-0. Tight serve from Kennedy Groff. She gets the ace. And Shane, that's something personally I've kind of been harping on. Looking at the box score last night for Logan Elm, they have 3 aces the entire match, well over that so far through 2 sets and 4 points for the Braves.
Yeah, I have them pushing up 10. That's about 11 there. And, you know, and it's an aggressive serving match for Logan Elm today, but that's a fair point that you're making there in terms of comparison of some of the serve receive.
And Shane, from what you saw last night for Logan Elm, is it a change in their approach as there's our third consecutive ace for Kennedy Groff? Is it a difference in approach defensively for Zane Trace, or has it just been a much more aggressive Logan Elm serve?
Possibly a little bit of both. You know, I that would be a question for Coach Ridenhour in terms of their calls from the bench, but for the most part, I feel like Zane Trace serve receive is the question mark I had down coming into the year. And I think it's unfair to just judge that against Logan Elm on day one. But I do think that's a fair point to make in the preview coverage here of Zane Trace is, are they going to be able to pass the ball on target consistently enough to allow some of their size and talent at the net to compete?
7-0 start here in set 3 for Logan Elm. 4 of those 7 points have come off the hands of Kennedy Groff at the service line.
You know, Groff's kind of one of the real underappreciated type of players in our coverage area. She's solid, plays all the way around here for him, sets across the back row. We're obviously seeing right now her ability to serve. She also hits for them, and pretty much on my notes here, other than King, the only player that plays all the way around for what's going to be a really, really good volleyball team.
And you talk about Groff, really all of those Pickaway County teams that are in our coverage area. You talk about Circleville, you talk about Fairfield Union, you talk about Logan Elm. Now, I can't speak on Circleville and Fairfield Union as I haven't seen those teams yet this season, but just going back to last year, all 3 of them very good.
No question. It should be some really good volleyball up there in the mid-state.
Snavely, a bump set to Johnson, up over with the right hand. She gets the Pioneers onto the board here in the 3rd set.
Yeah, just needed something to stop the bleeding there. And Johnson with a little tip into the middle there finds a hole, and see if Zane Trace can respond here.
Hill serves it away for the Pioneers. Groff back setting near side for Savage, who gets the kill.
Getting that balanced attack. That comes off a back set on an opposite side. You know, Savage now with 4 kills, and it's just you get a bunch of people producing 3, 4, 5, 6 kills to complement King, and you have something really, really going.
Marlo Smith up over on the free ball tip, back to the Braves by Johnson. Now Smith, a dig in the back row by Hill. Near side, this is Houston. Kept alive by the Braves, an attacking opportunity for Smith, and a nice dig from Hill. Another roll shot from Houston. Here's Groff front setting. King down the lane. She gets the kill.
Yeah, King up into double figures unofficially. I have her for 12, and again, she's been very efficient herself in terms of not needing a whole lot of swings to do it.
Snavely keeps it down the middle for Johnson. Blocked by Smith. Now Groff goes back to Smith, who bounces it off for the Pioneers. Blocks Snavely over on the second touch, and a dig from Petty. Petty out of the back row, a free ball dug up by Hill. Snavely to Johnson down the lane, a nice dig from Groff. Free ball over by Smith. She comes away with the kill. It's 10-1, Logan Elm.
Yeah, just another incredible play from Groff there. We talked about it's the all-around skill set. She's in, even as the setter there, she's in her defensive spot. She comes up with an outstanding dig and leads to a Logan Elm point.
Overpass for the Pioneers. Groff back to King, who comes away with another kill. Something we talked a lot about last year in our volleyball coverage, Shane, was you talk about that 2 to 3 kills per set. That's an all-league player. Then you get into that 4 and 5 kills per set. And that's when you start talking about Conference Player of the Year. Near side, Houston, a big swing dug up by Petty. Far side, Smith down the line, tucks it in for the kill.
Been real impressed with the balance. I know I've talked about it a couple different times, but I think even more so than I had come away last night. Today, I think just the balance up and down the net for Logan Elm, that's going to be a problem for defenses.
Snavely tries to sneak it over on the second touch, far side. This is Smith. Unable to keep it between the lines. It's 12-2. Puts an end to the Braves' run.
You know, it's funny how all sports have momentum, but it's funny how in volleyball, even the way a second set ends, how it affects the third set. I've seen it on back-to-back days now for Logan Elm, where they survive a push in the second set and as a result jump into the third set and then just roll.
Another kill for the senior Adeline Smith. An 11-point set 3 lead for the Braves. King back to the service line for Logan Elm. Hill brings it near side. Free ball pushed over by Houston. Now Groff to the freshman Liggins, who comes away with the kill.
Yeah, that ended up working out, but that's one of those there where they'll get on the same page more as the year goes on. Groff wanted to go with a little bit of a lower set, wanted our freshman middle hitter to go a little quicker from where I'm standing.
And a kill for Carly Snavely.
And again, Snavely's still working on, I think I've got her unofficially for about 8 kills, 2 blocks, but you know, again, just probably not getting enough opportunities as a result of the overall passing.
Freshman Peyton Newman coming away with the ace for Zane Trace. Newman serves it away once again. Groff back setting near side for Smith, blocked up top by Snavely. Free ball almost for Adeline Smith. Comes up just a bit shy of the net. It's 14-5.
Yeah, 14-5. You're kind of in that last opportunity to push here.
Tight serve from Newman. Free ball over by Smith. Now Gerald to Snavely. Nice dig from Macy Green. Far side, a roll shot from Smith. Diving effort in the back row by Hill, pushed over by Houston. Now a front set from Groff. Smith blocked at the net, dug up by Hill once again. Here's Snavely with the right hand and a nice dig from Smith. Here's Liggins down the middle and an overpass from Hill. Groff setting into the back row for King. Back to the Pioneers now. Free ball back over to Logan Elm. Groff bump setting near side for Green. Now Snavely down the middle for the kill. One of the longer rallies we've had tonight. This afternoon, rather, goes the Pioneers' way.
Yeah, it's a pretty good back and forth. Both teams not getting exactly the attack they want, but the defense kind of able to keep the ball off the floor, and then Snavely with a big swing.
Another ace for Zane Trace.
The freshman Newman here giving him a little bit of a spark.
Smith a bump set far side for Smith. Free ball catches the top of the divider hanging from the rafters. Point goes to Logan Elm.
Yeah, it's unfortunate there. That was an outstanding defensive effort from Hill to keep the ball off the floor. They just unable to get it back over.
Ingram back to serve for the Braves. Free ball pushed over by Grant. Now out of the middle. The sophomore Maggie Arnett. The Pioneers rally back, cut it back down to 7.
Yeah, Houston on the outside. That's her 4th kill of the match.
Barrows back to serve for the Pioneers. Ingram goes far side for Groff. That's something you talk about. You start working that secondary setter. It would be Ingram for Logan Elm, Gerald for Zane Trace, and you start to give your main setter more opportunities on the outside.
Yeah, no question there. And again, what happens is you'll see Groff just show off the entire skill set. Only 3 kills today because Logan Elm's been doing most of the damage with her setting to King.
Snavely down the middle off the setup from Lydia Gerald. The sophomore connection comes away with the kill.
Yeah, the Gerald to Snavely is probably one of the more positive things I've seen here in the early going of 2025 for Zane Trace. Both just sophomores. Snavely up to double digit in kills now.
Ingram goes far side for Savage. Kept alive by the Pioneers. Now Hill near side sails it over the right line.
So now Snavely out of the back row setting. That time Hill just unable to get on top of it. Again, I wouldn't worry too much about some of those mistakes early in the year because remember, she's making a position change this year and all that'll come.
Groff goes far side for Savage. Another block for Johnson. Pickrell in on the effort as well.
It's hard to tell if they got it or if it's just hitting that, but I would agree that just the size being there certainly impacted the play.
Another ace for Zane Trace. They've had some success this set from the service line. This time it's Reese Grant.
Still a little bit of a window of opportunity here if you can get on a little bit of a run. And those hurt. Obviously, the air is the point, but it also hurts because it takes a nice server and Grant off the line. Puts you back down 7.
The senior Lily Conaway will check in. I believe, Shane, the first time we've seen her this afternoon.
Yeah, Coach Wright and I are going to go to the bench a little bit here and try to get some girls some playing time.
An ace for Kennedy Groff and Shane off the air pregame. It was something you mentioned. You wouldn't be surprised to see him go 11 or 12 players deep.
It appeared to me last night and again today he's going to utilize several people in the rotation. He obviously has the 1 or 2 people that are going to play all the way around. But yeah, he's going to utilize a lot of his depth.
We'll now see Emma Houston return to the floor for the Pioneers. Kerrigan Hill back to serve for the Pioneers. Now Groff to King, blocked up top by Johnson. Groff tries to sneak it into the back row and a dig from Hill. Here's Houston on the attack for the kill.
Yeah, one of Emma's best swings of the day. You know, she'd been going with some 2-hand pushes and some things there. That time, really able to swing and hit something with a little bit more authority.
And Shane, this set, very similar to the first one. You had Logan Elm jump out to a 7 or 8 point lead, and then it was that 6 to 7 point cushion that the Pioneers just had a lot of trouble getting inside of.
Yeah, and it's just, you know, the room for error against an opponent like Logan Elm, just so small.
Snavely sets it up for Johnson down the lane. She gets another kill. So far, it's been an outstanding opening match to her senior season.
Yeah, she's been involved in a bunch of stuff at the net, right around, depending on how you want to score, a couple things at the net there, 5 kills, 5 blocks. And she's been involved in a lot of and she's going to be someone defensively throughout the year that's going to be up at the top of just about every stat that has to do with blocking at the net.
Groff to King and a dig momentarily for Gerald. Nobody home for the second touch. Lead back up to 7 for Logan Elm.
I missed that one there. Who was on that swing there?
Claire King.
King, okay, from the opposite side.
Now Snavely on the attack, blocked at the net by Liggins and Smith. Back to the Braves now, near side. This is Smith who's blocked. Houston and Snavely on the defense for the
Yeah, nice double block. Again, that's going to cause problems for any hitter when that size gets up, and that ball does find some real estate on the deep
Peyton
serve.
Newman again, her third ace of the set.
Yeah,
We saw the freshman give them some life early on in the set. She now returns to the service line.
No question.
Now Smith near side puts an end to the run. Braves back up by 6.
Yeah, Marlo Smith, the senior, 3 kills, but it's probably, I don't know, I'm guessing probably been able to do that off about 7 or 8 swings. So the efficiency on the opposite side attack, Coach Ridenauer will take that.
Ingram serves it away for Logan Elm. Now Snavely on the attack, a quick answer for Zane Trace.
And Dewey, that's what I'm talking about there a little bit, is when she's able to attack and get on top of the ball, so athletic, so big. Just go ahead and swing away and live with the results sometimes.
Barrows serves it away and comes away with the ace for Zane Trace.
You feel like Logan Elm's up 15, and you look at the scoreboard, it's 22-18. Zane Trace, still a little bit of a window here if they could just string something together, but that's the third time that's happened. So if you're Zane Trace, you're going to take some positives away, and then you're going to be able to, at the same time, look at some of the negative things and feel like, okay, they were unforced in so many. As talented as Logan Elm is, we've 3 or 4 times here in this third set, we've had a chance to make a run at him, and we just served the ball out of bounds or in the net.
Gracie Gardner checks in for the first time for Zane Trace. Smith serves it away and into the net. Another opportunity for the Pioneers. Ingram back setting near side for Liggins, a roll shot. Bump set from Grant, now on the attack, it's Hill. Ingram sets it up for Savage, dug up by Snavely. Now Pickrell far side, a roll shot and a dig from Groff. Groff a swinging opportunity near side and another dig for Snavely. On the attack, it's Hill, dug up by Savage on the overpass, now back to the Braves. Down the middle, Liggins. Dug up in the back row by Gardner, near side, Hill another swing. Athletic response for Ingram. And an attacking error against Logan Elm. They're asking for the tip. They just did sail it over the back line. The call will stand 23-20. Timeout, Logan Elm.
Yeah, possibly a break for Zane Trace there, but nonetheless, 23-20. And
it's as close as it's been since 3-0.
Are you reading this the way I mean, like in watching the third set, you felt like Logan Elm was up 10, 11, 12, 13, and then all of a sudden,
I believe it was 13-2 at one point.
Yeah, just creeping back in, and then here you are at 23-20, and enough to get Coach Ridenauer's attention and get that timeout.
But it's what we've been talking about all afternoon for Logan Elm. It's been the serving that's allowed them to get out in front of Zane Trace, but here in the third set, it's been Zane Trace that has turned the tables a little bit. They've had some success at the service line, and that's kept them in this third set.
So you have Snavely serving, so that means Johnson returns to the front row here.
Ingram goes far side for Savage, dug up by Gardner. What a play by Snavely to keep it alive for the Pioneers.
Well, it's a late call, but I think the line judge had it coming on the wrong side.
Looked like it didn't get quite back inside of the antenna.
So you were right. It was an incredible effort, but when that ball comes back, it's got to come on the Zane Trace side of that and then across, and it looked like it went on the other side. So it was a little bit of a late signal, but nonetheless the correct signal.
Similar in the NFL where you have the extra point or field goal that goes just over top of the crossbar. Tough decision, and it'll be an ace that ends it. Kimberly Petty walks it off for the Braves, 25-20. The set 3 final and a 3-0 final as the Braves so far haven't lost a set through 2 matches. Back-to-back set sweeps in as many days over the likes of Unyoda and Zane Trace.
kind of a fitting way to end it there with the ace, because the serving of Logan Elm is going to be one of the key things we talk about here in our post-match coverage. And then obviously the talented Claire King that led what was really a really balanced offensive attack at the net for Coach Ridenhour and his Braves.
Straight set win for Logan Elm over Zane Trace postgame when we return to Zane Trace High School here in Kinnikinnick. You've been watching Ohio High School Volleyball on Southern Ohio Sports Authority, presented by Ohio.
Mark. 6 months of training. 8 miles to go. A 3-way tie for almost last place.
Look good in these shorts, right?
And 3 years since he and his team at Ohio Health left cancer in the dust.
If there's not a Par-Mar store near you now, there will be soon. That's the slogan, and that's what we believe at Par-Mar stores. From groceries to gas and all the other stuff you need, Par-Mar has it. Download the Par-Mar app for even more savings, and don't forget the Par-Mar rewards card too. We also believe in being a big part of your community, so look for us at the ball game or wherever you are. Shop us today, like us on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, and remember, if there's not a Par-Mar store near you now, there will be soon.
We welcome you back to Zane Trace High School. A straight set sweep for the Braves or the Pioneers. Logan Elm still undefeated, not only in matches, but just in terms of sets. They've won back-to-back matches 3-0, taking down Unioda at home last night. They'll have an FAC matchup next Tuesday when they host Miami Trace. For Zane Trace, they've got a little bit of a break. You know, you open up the season on a Saturday afternoon. They're not back in action until next Thursday when they host Fairfield Union, who obviously this time around will be without Christian Thompson and I believe a few select others as well. But the program is still there. The tradition is still there. You would expect a very well put together Fairfield Union team next Thursday.
Oh, no question. And, you know, these teams that have had some success, obviously Zane Trace was in the regional a year ago. You're trying to up the schedule there and try to challenge yourself to see where you're at early on. And I guess there's 2 stats that would jump out at me here, Dewey. One, when I look down at my paper, depending on how you want to score some different things, right around 15 aces for Logan Elm, but I had 28 times where either on the ace or a ball that was not passed on target where the serving of Logan Elm was able to take them either for a point or out of system. And the reason that's so important is when you have the talent of a Snavely at the net, a Johnson at the net, even a Houston, a Pickerel, so forth, those are opportunities that Zane Trace isn't able to go into attack. So, number one, I would say the Logan Elm serving played a big factor in today's match. And then, obviously, offensively at the net, you have Claire King. I had her unofficially at 14 kills. But then I've got, Marlo Smith, Jillian Savage, Adeline Smith, Kennedy Groff, and even Kiki Ingram. You're going anywhere from about 2 to 7 kills, and that balance that is going to go with King is going to really make it tough on the block to get up and down the net, particularly when King's in the front row. So, I highlighted the all-around play of Groff. She's obviously going to rack up the assists when you're setting to someone the talent of King. And then I had her unofficially for 5 aces today, too, and 3 kills. I thought that all-around effort from her was something to highlight as well.
And Shane, I don't know what the final numbers were for Jillian Savage, but the opportunities were there so frequently. You would expect a night where maybe has more success and maybe more open lanes on the attack. She's going to have some really good games in terms of just kill numbers as well, because she had a lot of opportunities tonight.
What impressed me about the secondary hitters for Logan Elm, it shows you their discipline, their IQ, and it shows how well they're coached by Coach Ridenhour. Their ability to get in that 6-2 attack, they're getting 3 hitters off the net, and they're ready to hit at all times. So it makes it tough on the block to anticipate where the ball is going. So I agree. If you're in this Logan Elm offense, obviously the ball's going to go to number 9 in the middle quite a bit, as it should. But there's going to be opportunities up and down the net if you're ready when your number's called. And I think you did see that today. When I look at a Savage with a 4 kills or Smith with a 3, sometimes that's being done on a limited number of swings, so that efficiency is just impressive as the total number.
Shane, a lot of coverage for us come next week. Obviously, football Friday night will kick off 6 days from now, but we'll be in action next Friday, Uniota at Portsmouth. Thursday. That taking the place of the traditional Lucasville Valley Portsmouth game. Now, Uniota in Portsmouth, nonetheless, kicking off the football season 24 hours in advance. Then the following night, yourself and Carson Francis will be down in Waverly. I should say up in Waverly in regards of Portsmouth for them in Miami Trace. And then the following night, I think John, Bruce, and Carson are headed over to Jackson where they host Little Miami. But prior to that, we'll have more Saturday afternoon volleyball over in Frankfort as Adina hosts South Webster in what has traditionally been a pretty entertaining season opening matchup. I know it's been at least 3 years now they've been doing that. I'm assuming it's been more, but you talk about Southeast Ohio volleyball and some teams that, it's not too uncommon to see them competing at the regional and even state level. Those are two of your top programs.
Well, I think SOSA has a really elite calendar here early going, getting an opportunity to do this today. And then, as you said, basically from Thursday, Friday, and Saturday, inside a 3-day period there, you're going to get 3 football and a volleyball match. So, I mean, yeah, that's a lot of fun. And we're going to see not just having the games, it's who we have. You're going to have some programs that on the football side that are going to push, in my opinion, for 8-2, 9-1, 10-0 type seasons. Obviously, in volleyball, you're going to have some teams early on here with a Logan Elm and a Zane Trace. Remember Zane Trace in the regional last year. South Webster Adina, no stranger to the regional level. So, again, you're getting some really quality programs. And what I like about early in the year, it doesn't make or break the year, right? So just like Zane Trace today. Zane Trace did not play as well as they wanted to play today, but you have some things you can go to the film and look at. So early in the year when we have these big games, I think it's fun because it's a great test for programs. But if you do lose them, it's not like all's lost. You got an opportunity to kind of go to the film room and get better from it.
All righty, well, that'll wrap up our coverage this afternoon of Ohio High School volleyball. Shane Combs and Dewey Daly saying so long from Zane Trace High School. You've been watching Ohio High School volleyball on Southern Ohio Sports Authority, presented by Ohio Health.